51, or did you change the number? Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Polk County School Board meeting for October 27th, 2020. And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody here today. We are grateful that you could join us. So the first order of business is to call the meeting to order. And now I would like to ask Bishop Mincy if he would be so kind to come up to the microphone and lead us in the invocation. I would like to ask you to please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Bishop Mincy?
Shall we pray? Kind Father, in Jesus' name, we are so thankful for the gift of this another wonderful day. God, you have been so good to us. You blessed us in spite of us. We're so blessed to be assembled here today in this center again for another school board meeting. Thank you, O God, for the chairwoman and all of the board members, superintendent and all of her staff. Thank you, O God, for everyone that have come from far and near throughout this district to be a part of this meeting. God, we're here today because we need you, and we ask you for your help. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your strength. We ask for your direction. We're in a pandemic situation that we don't know which way to go, but you know the directions that we need. We ask for your wisdom and your knowledge and your understanding, and help us, oh God, to look to you and trust you. Bless this meeting and let everything be done to your glory, your honor, and your praise. And let it be a fruitful meeting to all that will be here. And we will give you glory, honor, and praise. We ask it in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. And at this time, thank you, Bishop Mincy. And at this time, I would like to ask Board Member Lynn Wilson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. The first item today is to accept the agenda. Madam Superintendent, are there any revisions to the agenda as printed?
Yes, there will be. Item C12, approval of the September 29, 2020 work session meeting minutes, add item. Item C13, approval of the October 13, 2020 work session meeting minutes, add item. Item C17, interlocal agreement for coronavirus funds, move item to R48. Item C18, continuation casualty claims program administrative services, update item. Item C37, recommendations for administrative and instructional personnel actions, update item. Item R50, acquisition of 2.26 acres of land across from the Bryant Stadium, update item. That concludes all the revisions for our meeting today.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the agenda for October 27th, 2020 with the noted revisions. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. The next item today is our special recognitions. Superintendent Byrd, would you please lead us through our special recognitions today?
My pleasure. First, I'd like to ask School Board Member Billy Townsend to step down for special recognitions. At this time, would Sarah Beth Reynolds please read the Red Ribbon Proclamation? Samantha Barwig, Coalition Coordinator for the Interact Alliance, will be accepting this proclamation along with Jeanette Crowley, President of the Interact Alliance, Katie Lilly and Lauren Martin, members of the Youth PAC leadership group.
Whereas substance abuse is the most common risk factor impacting youth in society, and the prevention education programs offered by Interact Alliance have proven to be effective tools in reducing risk factors and strengthening protective factors, with recent research showing that 84% of Polk County students in 6th through 12th grades choose not to drink alcohol. And whereas Interact Alliance has been providing prevention education to youth and adults in Polk, Hardy, and Highlands County communities since 1985, working diligently to reduce the abuse and underage use of harmful substances, along with involvement in risky behaviors through community awareness and involvement, prevention education, economic support, and leadership development. And whereas Interact Alliance serves as the fiscal agent for the Stand Up Polk, adult-based, and Youth Impact, youth-based, coalitions for a drug-free Polk, and works in collaboration with the county and local law enforcement to host the annual Own the Upside Prevention Summit, medication take-back events, and establish permanent prescription depositories to safely and properly dispose of unused medication. And whereas the 35th annual Red Ribbon campaign will be highlighted by the Red Ribbon Challenge, presented by Interact Alliance and title sponsor Public Supermarkets Incorporated, and held virtually this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic to offer children in grades K through 8 the opportunity to complete a series of fun challenges and activities each week during October based on elements of healthy living, such as nutrition, healthy mind, healthy body, kindness and tolerance, help save the planet, and healthy lifestyle. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Polk County School Board of Polk County do hereby proclaim the month of October as National Red Ribbon Month. Every citizen is encouraged to wear a red ribbon to symbolize our commitment to a healthy and safe environment for each citizen and participate in events during the month of October and throughout the year that support a positive, healthy lifestyle.
We provided you guys with red goodie bags that are on your tables. I wanted to thank you guys for recognizing National Red Ribbon Week. Though we are not having an in-person event, our Red Ribbon Virtual Challenge has helped keep the positive family connectedness that the Red Ribbon Run stands for. We kicked off the virtual challenge with National Eat Dinner with Your Family Day on September 28th. We hope that through the challenges, families can continue to create stronger bonds well after the challenges end. This week is the last week of the challenges, so do not forget to sign up and submit your challenges before the end of the day on October 31st. Again, thank you and have a great evening. Okay.
Thank you all for leading the way as such positive young ladies and young men. And thank you to our sponsors for that one. Next, would Lisa Miller please read the National Disability Awareness Month proclamation. Diversity Director Chandra Hall will come forward with the ESC Director Diane Taylor to accept the proclamation.
Whereas 2020 marks the 30th year passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and the 75th anniversary of the National Disability Employee Awareness Month, and whereas students and staff with disabilities are all racial, ethnic, educational, social, and economic backgrounds and are all valued members in the Polk County Public Schools. And whereas Polk County Public Schools encourages partnerships between the district, post-secondary institutions, and the community at large to promote equality as well as equity in the hiring practices for people with disabilities. And whereas there are more than 14,900 students with disabilities enrolled in our K-12 system to include our post-secondary schools. And whereas early intervention education, and employment are considered vital to enabling students with disabilities to enjoy the rights of citizenship. And whereas the Polk County Public Schools are committed to promoting the 4 principles of the American Disabilities Act by providing instruction related to disability history and the disability rights movement through the school curriculum and other school-related activities. Now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Polk County do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 16th, 2020 as Disability Awareness Month.
The mic's that way.
Thank you. Thank you. This is so different. I'm getting it, though. Hi, my name is Chandra Hall. I'm the Director of Equity and Diversity Management, and I just want to take a few moments to thank you for recognizing Disability Awareness Month. Part of my role is to promote equity, diversity, and diversity awareness and inclusion in our district, and that includes our disabled Americans and our students. Mrs. Diane Taylor, I would like to present the proclamation to her because she has been very instrumental in our district as the ESE director, not only as a director, as a teacher. She's supported me personally and all of our students in our schools in our district over 30 years. So we wanted to acknowledge her today and a few of our programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, wonderful. And I do accept this proclamation for, on behalf of students with disabilities. I started in the district somewhere around 32 years ago. It was one of those burning passions that I had to become an educator. I started out as a paraprofessional, to be exact. So to go further, it was something that was driving me to do that. It was wonderful mentors that I had in my life to actually help me to obtain that goal. And that push was toward something that burned in my heart, and that was for students with disabilities. I've been in the field with students with disabilities for most of my time in education. You have to have a passion and a burning for that to happen. You have to have good people in your path to help you along the way. I'd like to acknowledge right now, one of the mentors that I had passed away last week. Some of you know that. And I thank her for being that inspiration to me. And I realized that being in this role, you also have to be an inspiration to others. With me today, I have the ESE senior managers who took time out of their day to come here for this celebration. And I want to lead by example and make sure that these footsteps that I make are footsteps that they can also follow. Thank you for acknowledging me today. I do appreciate that. And thank you for coming out and spending time with us this evening to receive this proclamation.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to you all as well. Next, I would like to ask Sarah Beth Reynolds, please read the Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. Diversity Director Chandra Hall will come forward with Laufman Oaks Elementary Principal Wanda Ponte and Yahira Gracia, hopefully I said that correctly, with Gibbon Street Pre-K.
To make sure they were in the room already or coming. Whereas the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States Congress has authorized the designation of National Hispanic Heritage Month, and whereas Polk County Public Schools embraces diversity and promotes cultural awareness within our organization for all students as well as staff, and whereas Polk County Public Schools recognizes that diversity and inclusion is one of our biggest assets as a school district that serves more than 107,000 students, and whereas the School Board of Polk County currently has 37% students and 20% employees of Hispanic descent, and whereas Polk County Public Schools recognizes the Hispanic culture as an attribute and acknowledges the many contributions made to our schools, community, and our country by Hispanic stakeholders, and whereas the School Board of Polk County also recognizes the business businesses, and economic development of the Hispanic community as a link to the educational advancement of our Hispanic students. Now therefore, be it resolved, the School Board of Polk County hereby proclaims September 15th to October 15th, 2020 as National Hispanic Heritage Month.
And just really quick, I'll be accepting on their behalf. Loftman Oaks did a really neat project, as well as other schools, but they did a very neat project virtually to share some Hispanic heritage history at their school through literacy, and I thought they did such an outstanding job. I wanted to acknowledge them today, so I'll accept on their behalf. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, will Lisa Miller read the LGBTQ History Month proclamation? Diversity Director Chandra Hall will remain up front with members of the Gay Straight Alliance Club to accept this proclamation.
Tonight is full of inclusive diversity. I think
Yes.
this is grand, and I appreciate one of our clubs being represented. We have several throughout the district. Whereas lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender Americans have made and continue to make lasting contributions to our society, and whereas LGBT Month reminds both the LGBT and wider communities of important roles LGBT people make and have taken in creating the social, legal, and political worlds we live in. And whereas this month we recognize the immeasurable contributions of LGBT Americans and we renew our commitment to the struggle for the equal rights for LGBT students and staff. And whereas LGBT educators, students, and families should be supported to live in an affirmative life with dignity and respect. And whereas 18.2% of students in Florida identify as LGBT and are more likely to be bullied at school compared to their peers. Whereas the Polk County School District appreciates and recognizes the importance of LGBT History Month as an effective means of educating and calling to action the stakeholders to work together to promote equal protection of all Polk County students and staff, regardless of orientation, gender identification, or expression. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Polk County does hereby proclaim the month of October as LGBTQ History Month.
Thank you so much for having us. This is the 4th year that I've been the sponsor for the GSA, Gender and Sexuality Alliance, at my school, Winter Haven High School. This club has been a safe haven for our students who are part of the LGBTQIA community and their friends. As you know, LGBTQIA youth face some of the greatest amounts of bullying and stigma from fellow students and sometimes even staff. Without a space where they know they are supported and seen, many can suffer from depression, isolation, and sometimes even suicide. I know that because I was one of them. Members of GSA have come to me every single year and said that they finally felt safe enough to come out, whether it's being open about their sexuality, their gender, or lack thereof, after joining GSA. I am proud that our campus has been able to support GSA to create a campus of inclusivity, awareness, and camaraderie. At Winter Haven High School, Mrs. Williams announces every morning to be kind, and supporting our LGBTQIA students is how we do that. We've come such a long way, but we have miles more to go. Thank you so much for this recognition, and we are deeply appreciative.
Will Jeanette Crowley, Senior Coordinator of Strategic Partnerships, come forward for a United Way of Central Florida special presentation? Okay, now we got Lauren here.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? All right. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity. It truly is a pleasure every year to serve as the district campaign coordinator for United Way of Central Florida and the district campaign. United Way of Central Florida believes that every child should be given the opportunity to meet his or her potential in school and in life, that everyone should have a fighting chance to support themselves and their families, and that no one can do their best at school or work if they are hungry, sick, or in pain. Working with its partner agencies, United Way identifies problems within our community, raises the funding, and develops the solutions to solve those problems. United Way of Central Florida fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every individual in Polk County. They invest in teacher training, parent education, and early literacy services that improve vocabulary, literacy skills, and school readiness scores, as well as tutoring, homework assistance, mentoring services for at-risk students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. Because united, we all win. Today, I have the honor of sharing our 2019 district-wide campaign results with you, as well as celebrate our top schools and department who contributed to the highest fundraising results towards last year's campaign. Because of the generous support of our employees, Polk County Public Schools raised more than $96,000 last year, and among more than 600 companies, we ranked number 8 in total giving. At this time, I'd like to invite Christina Kreiser-Jackson, President and CEO, and Jessica Garcia, Resource Development Manager from United Way of Central Florida, to say a few words about our partnership and help me recognize our top schools and department.
Good evening, everyone. We're here today to say thank you. We are so grateful for the tremendous leadership that you all provide and that the Polk County Public Schools provides for our community. The last couple of months have been interesting, and I know that you all have seen firsthand the families, the children, and the individuals that have been worked because of the generosity of the Polk County Public Schools, your teachers, and your faculty. In the last couple of months, 17 food drops were established in partnership with the school board, and you all are actually hosting some of those food drops. Over 450 families are visiting those food drops twice a month. We also have the 211 service, which you all have done a tremendous job of advocating on our behalf and making sure your families receive that information. In a typical environment, we're receiving about 500 calls. We're receiving 4,500 calls on average every month. In addition to that, there's services under health, education, income, our financial stability. We have Girls Inc., Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, a lot of these programs that have been so resilient. And it's because they believe in what you're doing with our students during the day, how you're helping them work virtually, and they want to be a part of that accomplishment and those goals that you have set for your school board. So we want to thank you all, but we also want to thank the faculty, the staff, everyone that's involved. We see it from each school, each position in those schools, all the generous support that you provide on an annual basis. So as Jeanette had mentioned, 25 years in partnership, that we've been in partnership with the Polk County Public Schools. And again, you continue to amaze us. So today is about thank you. Thank you for all of these tremendous leads. We were actually just sitting in another room, and we didn't realize we were surrounded by all of the champions because there's a lot that goes on and a lot that work on this campaign each and every year. We do want to thank Jeanette for her leadership, and we also want to thank Marissa Green for her board leadership. But Superintendent Byrd, thank you so much for your advocacy, your leadership. We realize that it starts from the top down, and you truly inspire others to give back. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, in our elementary school category, this is also always a battle for the top. So this year, 2019, we had Highlands Grove Elementary, and they raised $6,241. So I want to say a huge congratulations to Highlands Grove Elementary. It's always a battle with them, and Spencer Holland. Congratulations. They get too. We'll take a picture over there. All right, in our middle school category is Kathleen Middle. They raised $2,531, and remember, they remained as the top middle school even when a tornado gave extensive damage to their building. But I can't just say enough about their resilience, their drive, and their dedication. And as Principal Gregory says, we're Kathleen strong. So thank you so much, though, for what all you did. In our high school division, we have Mulberry Senior High, who raised a total of $3,309. And since I've been doing this for 6 years, they are the top high school that you've come in as a top high school for the first time, right? Yes, right. Yes. Yes. And in our department category, we have support services that raised $3,124.26. And Kayla is always, Alan is our champion there under the leadership of Scott and Rob. So I want to thank you all for your support and all that you do. And in our combination category, do you have theirs? Yep. We have, once again, Fort Meade Middle Senior, who raised a total of $3,159.20, and they raised almost $1,000 more than they did of the previous year. So I want to say congratulations to you. I would like, are all the principals still here? I do want to give you an opportunity to say a few words. So, Amy, you want to come up here and say a few words?
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank, of course, my staff, and I have a guidance counselor who leads the charge, Angie Story, so I definitely want to give her credit. But I do feel like United Way is a way to show that our staff is not leaving any child left, and it's a way to give and to fill in those gaps. And so it attributes to my staff on how much they care, because it's just an addition to what they do all day long. And they reach in their wallets, and yet they give yet again. So again, I just want to thank my staff.
At our school, we really emphasize giving and giving to our community. Our biggest givers are our students. So we're glad that we could just be a part of the team.
I would just like to say thank you to United Way for all they do for the community. It's a great program and all the lives that they touch. I'd like to thank Jeanette for being our cheerleader for United Way. She really gets us through it, and it's always so much fun. And then last but not least, my support service family, because without them, I couldn't do this. So thank you, everyone.
And thank you to all the champions that are out there that are on the front lines, making sure that we support our community. Next will Steve Cochran, Senior Director of Multiple Pathways, and Danielle DeConcilio, Assistant Principal of East Area Adult School, come forward for an Adult Community Educators Special Presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent, board members for having us here today. I want to talk about ACE. ACE is the Adult Community Educators of Florida. ACE represents, promotes, advocates for adult and community education professionals and volunteers through its commitment to improve and expand adult and community education programs throughout the state. ACE offers 7 state awards each year at its annual conference. This year, Polk won 5 of those awards. Every county in the state could have a nominee, but Polk won 70% of the awards. I would like to introduce our award winners today. For State Teacher of the Year, Leah Sonoba, West Area Adult School. Leah has 35 years in education and has been at West Area since 1991, 29 years. Her name is synonymous with GED success. Congratulations. Our next winner, State Non-Instructional Support Staff of the Year, is Terminal Operator Sherry Bigelow at West Area Adult School. With 26 years in education and 23 at West Area, she is truly the heart of the school. Thank you very much. Now, you've seen this young lady before, and we're proud to have her here again. State Volunteer of the Year is Esther Hammer, East Area Adult School. She has served for 23 years at East as a volunteer. She's a local celebrity and was recently featured in the Ledger for her greatness. Ms. Hamer Hall was dedicated on Wednesday, December 2nd at the next SAC meeting, and that should be a tentative appointment. Yes, we're very proud of you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Congratulations. State Business Partner of the Year, Rotary Club of Auburndale, President Danny Chandler, East Area Adult School. Congratulations. Auburndale Rotary serves on their SAC, offers scholarships to students and businesses in Rotary, and businesses in Rotary offer to employ students. They are truly a great business and community partner for our adult school. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
And our last award. Why didn't we get all 7?
You gotta have something to strive for,
This is pretty good. I know, now that I've told her that, we'll have 7 next year. Great job. All right, State Media Promotions of the Year. Chris Stump of Stumpy's Marketing in Auburndale, East Area Adult School. They make banners, flyers, pins, tents, and shirts. He is the voice of East Area Adult School. Thank you so much for partnering with East Area Adult School. And all of the people that you saw here today are one of the reasons that we have possibly the best adult education programs in the state. We should be very proud. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to all the winners for your dedication and hard work. And we really appreciate what you do for our community. Thank you. At this time, will Regional Superintendents Benjamin Henry and Patricia Barnes come forward for a special recognition of Principal of the Year and Assistant Principal of the Year.
Good.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm so excited to announce the Principal of the Year for Polk County. I wrote a couple of words just to tell you a little bit about our winner. Tavia May began her journey with Polk County Schools in 1993 as a paraprofessional. Then she became a classroom teacher and eventually a school-based administrator. Ms. May referred to education as her ministry. She always enjoyed spreading the words about the great things her students and staff are achieving at Auburndale Central. This is her 6th year at Auburndale Central. During this time, she has been able to transform Auburndale Central by reducing the discipline rate and increasing the strong relationship with her stakeholders, which has resulted in her school grade increasing to a C. I'm honored and very proud to announce our 2021 Principal of the Year, Tavia May.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. To Superintendent Byrd, the board, Deputy Superintendent Hill, and to my supervisor, Dr. Henry, and all the other regional superintendents, thank you so much for this honor. For I know the plans I have for you, and I'm so thankful that I allowed the Lord to direct my path and to keep me as a servant leader to Polk County Public Schools. Allow me to thank my parents, Landon and Dr. Peggy Earl, my husband, Derek May, and my children for inspiring me and keeping me grounded. Also, my staff at Auburndale Central Elementary who supports my vision. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Superintendent Byrd, and to all the board members and everyone present. I have the opportunity to present to you our Assistant Principal of the Year. And I am excited that that is Miss Tally Miller. We are so excited for this opportunity. 3 words came to mind when I think of her. She's always very professional, she's dedicated, and she's caring. No one's giving more instructional care to the students at Crystal Lake Middle School than Miss Miller, side of her principal, but it's her night tonight. It's hard to be in the second seat, but she makes it so easy because she works so well with everyone. The students, the faculty, and the staff were just elated with this opportunity to show you what they've seen all along, a wonderful educator who's dedicated to making the lives better for the students in Polk County. So we are excited tonight to present to you our Assistant Principal of the Year for Polk County Public Schools, Mrs. Tally Miller.
Thank you, Superintendent Byrd, the school board, Deputy Superintendent Hill. Thank you guys very much. I'm honored and very humbled to have this opportunity to receive this award. There are so many wonderful educators out there, and for me to be chosen amongst everybody, I am very humbled from that. Thank you, Ms. Barnes, for all of your support, and Ms. Cotter, I've worked under her, and she has really helped grow and develop me into the leader that I have become today. I'm very, very thankful, and then my family who puts up with me at all times of the day, coming home late or leaving at 4 a.m. to go for a run so that I can get to work on time. Thank you guys, everybody. I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
Congratulations to both our administrators, and thank you for representing us and standing in the front of all your other colleagues for making sure we take care of children first. So thank you again. Madam Chair, this concludes our recognitions for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Okay, we're going to move on. The next item is public comments on agenda items. So I'd like to ask, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to come forward to speak to an item on the agenda, except, of course, for the public hearing? Is there anyone who would like to come forward and speak? I do have two individuals already noted. It's on the regular agenda. So let me see. We might, yes, we'll go ahead and take them now. Janine Rodino, if you would please come forward. Good afternoon. If you would state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Janine Rodino. I am a resident of Mulberry, Florida. According to the interlocal agreement for coronavirus relief funds, the school board has been allocated funds from the county, quote, for expenditures which were not accounted for in the school board's budget most recently approved as of March 27, 2020, end quote. In addition, Section 4B states that the school board, quote, will not use funding provided under this agreement for expenditures when it previously received funding, end quote. Furthermore, these funds are to be used for, as subsections 1 and 2 of Section 4A specify, necessary expenditures incurred due to the coronavirus pandemic and not part of the regularly budgeted costs as of March 27, 2020. The financial officer wants to save this money for a future rainy day. What about the downpour we're currently standing in? Our students are struggling without additional support. Polk County Public Schools claim to put students first. How are you putting students first when you force teachers to educate campus and e-learners simultaneously? How are you putting students first when you have more than 40 e-learners in one class section, or more than 200 e-learners on teacher rosters? How are you putting students first when you refuse to use coronavirus relief funds to support your teachers, who in turn support their students? How are you putting students first when you won't give their teachers more time to plan effective lessons that benefit blended learning? How are you putting students first when you refuse to hire additional teachers with the relief funding to reduce class sizes? How are you putting students first by putting a hiring freeze in effect where schools are fighting to fill crucial teaching positions, yet the district manages to hire 2 administrative roles that they claim are mission critical that each bank $100,000 to $120,000 a year? It must be nice to support yourselves with a top-heavy district where everyone can delegate their jobs instead of doing them on their own, but you provide no relief or opportunities for your classroom teachers who are risking their health daily, a chance to delegate for the benefit of their students. When you ignore the request for support to survive this year from teachers, you're also neglecting to support, guide, and give our students the best chance. Students first? What a joke. It's just heartbreaking that our students are your punchline. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next, I'd like to ask Stephanie Yoakum to come up to the podium, and I think, Ms. Yoakum, you already kind of know the drill, so.
Stephanie Yocum, President of Polk Education Association. I'm speaking to Agenda Item 12 in reference to the work session minutes from September 29th. And that's where you guys talked. Mr. Perone had given you guys a budget update. There was a lot of good information in there, and I want to give you guys some numbers that I've crunched. To preface this, I want to say that you guys could stop this impasse now that we're currently at with the district bargaining team. There seems to be a misconception here that the only thing on the impasse list is the teacher salary allocation. And I get you guys wanting to get a special magistrate opinion on that because the law is very up to interpretation. But there are 3 other items that we are at impasse over that are well within your purview to deal with now. And so we have our para and our secretary clerical contracts to where our proposed raise for those folks that would bring them up to a minimum of $10 an hour, which if Amendment 2 passes, you guys are gonna have to do anyway. So why not be proactive in doing it now for your folks instead of waiting until we have to be reactive again? And so in the general fund, our proposal only costs the district $2.1 million to bring our folks up to $10 an hour, and that's not even a livable wage, but it's getting closer. And to give everybody a 3 to 4% raise, it's above $10 an hour. And if you're looking at non-general fund money, the total would be about $4 million. Currently, from your AFR report from 1920, you have an assigned and unassigned fund balance of $52.6 million, which is about a 6.4% fund balance right now. We're only asking for $2 to $4 million of that if the non-general fund allocations can't pick in their part. And so that is a small price to pay your frontline workers that are the backbone of our schools and services for our students. The other piece is the blended learning stipend that's on the table that you guys have not spent $18 million of your own coronavirus funds, what Janine had alluded to over there. Our proposal for blended learning, which is a monster of a job, it's almost impossible to do. Talk to your teachers that are doing it on the front line. They're hurting, they're breaking, and then they're leaving. We have to give them relief somehow, either through some extra compensation or even possibly some more planning or something. But we're asking for compensation at this point. And so you have $18 million of coronavirus money that you have been given by the federal government. And if we were to do this for the whole entire year, our proposal is about $1.3 million of that 18 to pay the people that are doing the work on the ground for student success. And so 3 of the 4 items you guys could solve up right now if you wanted to take the teacher salary increase allocation to the special magistrate, but you choose not to. So I urge you to rethink that and put our paras and our secretary clericals.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yocum. Okay, is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to come forward to speak on agenda items, not the public hearing? Once again, if you please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to address the board.
Sarah Gant, Davenport, Florida. Good evening. My name is Sarah Gant. I have 7 years of experience working as a speech-language pathologist for Polk County Public Schools. I am speaking tonight again on behalf of all speech-language pathologists working for PCPS. The crisis we are bringing to your attention tonight is the district's proposal to distribute the teacher allocation funds unfairly, financially harming non-instructional staff, wrongfully including SLPs. This catastrophic proposal seeks to give starting teacher raises by taking income away from those categorized as non-instructional staff. We are appalled that speech-language pathologists are labeled non-instructional when we instruct children daily in speech and language skills. We are appalled that we are not deemed non-instructional when the district pays for our services. We're magically labeled instructional again. We are appalled that the district allows Richard Corcoran, who was not elected by the voters in Polk County, to use political manipulation at our bargaining table. Let me remind you that SLPs bring in a revenue stream to the district through Medicaid billing program. If the proposal to distribute the teacher allocation funds is accepted, the district can expect an interruption in this revenue stream. We will not tolerate the district's proposal to financially harm us. It is a travesty to all SLPs to be left behind in both respect and monetary compensation. We have obtained master's degrees in our field of specialty. We also hold licenses from the Florida Department of Health and national board certification from the American Speech Language Hearing Association. It is exactly this level of credentialing which affords the district the means by which to reap financial gains from our services. SLPs bring in a fortune to the district through the Medicaid billing program. We urge the board to ensure equitable raises for all who work hard to see students progress. We too must be recognized and given equal financial advancement alongside our colleagues. Thank you. And thank you to Billy Townsend for your service.
Thank you very much. I believe the rest of the folks are for general items that would come up in the public. Do you have something that's on the agenda? Okay, please come forward.
Hi, I'm Christy McCullough, 24 Lake Arrowhead Drive, Winter Haven, Florida, and I am a proud 19-year veteran teacher. According to the district's pay proposal, they believe I'm worth $2.60 more an hour than someone directly out of college, and I have an issue with that. First of all, I have a professional certificate. I have 4 different subject area endorsements. I have 2 teaching endorsements. Many of the people you hire have what we call a temporary certificate, which means they don't have these things. They have 3 years to get it. Secondly, out of all the certificates in Florida, there are 1,765 people certified in all of the mathematics, 1,431 people certified in biology, 814 people certified in physics, 621 people certified in agriculture. I'm certified in all of these. I've taught all of these. I can teach any of these any day you want. Even with the hiring freeze you guys have right now, you would hire me for 2 of these jobs. The state defines them, 3 of them, as critical teacher shortage areas. I'm worth something. I currently teach 6 different subjects each day. Not 6 different periods, 6 different subjects. Some of them 2 or 3 at once. I do this blended. I do this in-person and e-learning. And contrary to what the district says, it is not the same job. It is about 2 times the work to do it online as it is in person. Doing both takes me 3 to 4 times as much time as it would if I was teaching in person. I can dream up a new program, find the state standards, research it, write the curriculum, find a community partner, and implement it, and I have. I can proctor testing. Sounds silly. 31 out of the 44 days since school has started, we've had testing. We've had whole days where students did nothing but sit in the cafeteria with the subs and long-term subs while we got to test. And I can find something for my kids to do while they're sitting in that gym to be productive. And the most important thing is I can be a resource to the new teacher, that one that just is getting started. We all agree teachers should be paid a living wage, but teachers are not going to stay because of more money. They're going to stay because of help with people like me. They're going to stay because of the help I got as a brand new teacher. So after hearing that, am I really only worth $2.60 more an hour than someone right out of college? By the way, new teachers also need secretaries to answer the phone, to enroll the students. New teachers need lunchroom personnel to feed them. They need custodians to keep that room clean. They would not be able to do their job without those people. And those people aren't worth much at all. They're worth minimum wage. They could go to Walmart or Publix and make the same amount of money. The district is proposing paying new teachers 61 cents an hour, more than PA proposal. That money will not make them stay. People like me will make them stay. Please respect us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next item for our board tonight is to approve 4 sets of minutes. The first set of minutes is for the September 8th, 2020 school board meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to accept September 8, 2020 school board meeting minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The second set of minutes is for the September 8th, 2020 School Board Work Session. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the September 8th, 2020 School Board Work Session minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The third set of minutes is for the September 29th, 2020 School Board Work Session. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the September 29th, 2020 School Board Work Session minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The fourth set of minutes is for the October 13th, 2020 School Board Work Session. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the October 13th, 2020 School Board Work Session minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. The next item on our agenda today is the approval of the consent agenda for October 27th, 2020. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the October 27th, 2020 consent agenda as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. The next item we have today is new administrator announcements. Mrs. Byrd, do we have any announcements today?
Yes, we do. We have 4 coming before you today. We have Douglas Harwell, Assistant Principal, Bartow High School. Alyssa Moriarty, Assistant Principal, Lakeship Elementary School. Scott Reeves, Director, Support Services, and Donald Stevenson, Director, Safety and Vehicle Services. This concludes all new administrators for this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Byrd. Are any of them in our audience today? To be recognized, please come forward. Tell us a little bit about yourself and congratulations.
Well, thank you, Ms. Cunningham. My name is Scott Reeves, Director of Support Services. I've been with the district proudly for 16 years now. Started out as a vehicle service technician, and with the great leadership that we have over there, I was able to work my way up. And Ms. Byrd, I want to say it's been a privilege to serve with you for the last couple. And the board, thank you for all your support and encouragement.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. And I do believe they want to get a picture
Yes.
on the banner. And please forgive me, I did not look that direction. But thank you. I enjoy working with you as well. Therefore, seeing no others present, this will conclude our new administrators for today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Superintendent Byrd. Next, we come to our regular agenda. Under Business Services General Items, we have item 48, Interlocal Agreement for Coronavirus Funds. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the interlocal agreement for coronavirus funds between the state of Florida and the Polk County School Board for the CARES Act. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
No.
Mr. Townsend?
I pulled this off of the consent agenda earlier just because, A, it's $9,500,000. That's a lot of money. I think I'd asked if we have an easy accounting for how it's going to be spent tonight. I mean, I asked that not too long ago, so may not have had the chance to do that yet. It's my understanding that it's going into the fund balance. Is that right?
The 9.5 that's coming from Board of County Commission,
Yeah.
that is actually going to come in and it's going to pay for, I believe Mr. Perone gave an overview of like the PPE materials that it's being utilized for. Once that, we have to submit that to the Board of County Commission as well, and we will make sure we send all of the line to the board. I mean, to the full board.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I was noting in reading the agreement itself, it's kind of an interesting phrase. It says, "School board hereby certifies, represents, and warrants to the county that such amount, together with any other CARES Act funding it has received from any source, whether municipal, state, federal, or otherwise, as of the effective date of this agreement, does not exceed the amount of $500 per day, elementary and secondary student enrolled in Polk County schools, under the direction and governance of the school board." It's interesting that the agreement itself talks about our schools as being under the direction and governance. I mean, that's pretty specific terms. I think it's just for everybody to think about: are those schools under the direction and governance of the school board? I don't really think that they are. I mean, not in any practical sense. And I think that's the interesting thing to consider, you know, as next board's coming in and how things are gonna be done and the relationship with the state and the governor and all of that. You know, I think the whole nature of the role of the school board is kind of up for grabs. And I just wanted to highlight that, and then just I wanted to thank the county commission for, you know, as I understand this, they got a big chunk of money as part of the CARES Act, and we're quick to turn to us to see if they could help. So I appreciate that, and just figured it was a big enough amount of money and important enough to discuss off of consent.
Thank you. Are there any other comments by the board? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have item under Facilities and Operations, General Items, Property Management. Item number 49, lease agreement for Florida Head Start and First Start at the Wilfred Smith Center. The chair will entertain a motion to approve extending the lease agreement with the Board of County Commissioners for 4 additional years for the period 2020 through 2024. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Under Facilities and Operations, General Items, Property Management, we have item number 50, acquisition of 2.26 acres of land across from Bryant Stadium in Lakeland. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the purchase of 2.26 acres of land from the City of Lakeland for $146,000. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Wait. Okay.
Mr. Townsend?
Yeah, were you going, Lynn?
I didn't know. Go ahead, Mr. Wilson, go ahead. One of y'all.
Well, I wanted to comment on this as I spoke a little bit about it during the work session. There's another group, it's a nonprofit group, Central Florida Healthcare, an organization that's interested in the same piece of property, and they've asked us to delay the vote on this. But the Lakeland football program is a nationally recognized program, so clearly we need a football stadium for them to play in. we have Bryant Stadium, and that means we need parking, and this is an opportunity for us to secure parking for that football stadium. I asked Superintendent Byrd, I know she's meeting with the CEO of Central Florida Healthcare in the next week or so, to talk about a possible agreement with them that might be of benefit to our community. Obviously, we have a responsibility to work with our community and find win-win situations wherever we can. And so I'm hoping that we can at least talk to them. I'm not sure anything that will come of that, but we have a responsibility to sit down and talk to them and see if there's something we can do to create a win-win situation for everyone. But in the meantime, I think it's important that we move forward with the acquisition of this piece of property, and then after we've done that, perhaps talk about whatever they want to talk about, bringing our community, all of our community partners to the table to discuss whatever options might be on the table. So I will be voting to approve this evening, and I'm hoping we can at least have a conversation about what that might look like in the best interest of our community a little bit down the road. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Townsend?
Yeah, just to echo what Lynn said, I'm just going to explain why I'm also going to vote for it. I mean, I'm fully supportive of public ownership of that property, of us owning it. And I think potentially a vote here is leverage to make sure that discussion happens in a serious way, but a 6-1 vote wouldn't be that. What I hope is that we will take the opportunity to really sit down seriously with a couple of good partners with us, which are the City of Lakeland and Central Florida Health, and make a serious effort to see what can be done there. Again, as a board member, sometimes the only leverage you have to get something done over staff is to withhold a vote. That's not worth doing here, but I just do hope that we'll take it seriously. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Ms. Fortney?
To clarify where the money for this purchase is coming from so that our staff knows.
Just to go on record for Ms. Fortney, this will be purchased with sales tax money.
Thank you, Superintendent Byrd. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'd like to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Now it is time for our public hearing. I would like to recess the school board meeting and open up our public hearing this evening. At this time, I would like to call the public hearing for October 27th, 2020 to order. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward to address item 51, which is policy updates on our public hearing agenda today? If so, I would ask that you please come forward to the microphone. Okay, seeing none, we shall proceed. Ms. Reynolds pulled the Neola policy 8450.1, protective facial coverings during epidemic events. The chair will entertain a motion to approve this new policy 8450.01, addressing mask requirements for staff, vendors, and visitors. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. Reynolds?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This discussion came up earlier when we were looking at putting masks into our dress code policy. While I understand the benefits of masks during this pandemic, not every pandemic is exactly the same. And so to say that we're going to require face masks when a pandemic occurs, whenever that might be, I think is a little bit premature and not necessarily something that belongs in our bylaws, but it's on a case-by-case basis. So I'll be voting against putting this in our bylaws this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Townsend?
Just think it's worth noting, I had someone a couple of weeks ago call to complain about continuing to require masks in schools after the Lakeland City Commission dropped their mandate. I think if you paid attention to the presentation this morning, to the extent that we've been successful in, it's hard to say based on what data says, but like the experience of serious sicknesses don't seem to have been too bad at this point. I think the mask mandate has a big role to play in that. Whether even when compliance isn't 100%, that's a really important thing, and it's if you want to keep schools open or keep schools reasonably safe, I think this is a keystone of it. So I'm fully supportive of it.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, if not, I'd like to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries 6-1. Next, we have the adoption of both the recommended staff and Neola policy updates. The chair will now entertain a motion to adopt both the recommended staff and Neola policy updates. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I would like to go ahead and close the public hearing and convene the school board meeting. The next item on our agenda is our superintendent's report. Mrs. Bird, do you have an update for us today?
I do. The next work session and board meeting will be held on November 17th, 2020. The work session will begin at 12:30 p.m., followed by the board meeting at 5 p.m. Both meetings will take place here at Jim Miles Professional Development Center, located at 5204 U.S. Highway 98 South in Lakeland, Florida. That concludes my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Next, we have our attorney's report, which will be given by Mr. Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item that we have, I was asked when the board approved some months ago School Board Resolution 2019/2020-12, and that has to do with the temporary suspension of school board policies during certain emergencies impacting the health, safety, and well-being of students, employees, volunteers, and the community. So I'm bringing that to you tonight, as I have at every regular meeting of the school board since its adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the extension of School Board Resolution 2019-2020, number 12. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Nay. So we're going to probably have to do,
Roll call vote.
yep. Will you, okay, so let's start. District 1?
Aye.
District 2? Nay. District 3?
Aye.
District 4?
Nay.
District 5?
Nay.
District 6?
Aye.
And District 7?
Aye.
Okay, so the vote carries 4-3 and has passed. Does everybody understand that? 4 ayes and 3 nays. It has passed.
Thank you, ma'am. And I've been requested to ask for authority to advertise public hearings for 2 upcoming board meetings. The first is a public hearing to be held during the school board meeting on December the 8th to approve the proposed attendance zone for the new Davenport High School.
Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve authority to advertise a public hearing to be held during the school board meeting on December 8th, 2020, to approve the proposed attendance zones for the new Davenport High School. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the last item is authority to advertise a public hearing to be held during the school board meeting on January 26th, 2021, to approve the charter contract for Bridge Prep Academy.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve authority to advertise a public hearing to be held during the school board meeting on January 26th, 2021, to approve the charter contract for Bridge Prep Academy. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Townsend?
I think last time those folks were here, they were pretty threatening toward Ms. Miller, and Ms. Fortney and Lynn said that they should apologize. Have they expressed any apology for that behavior when Lynn was the chair? Has there been any apology expressed? Do we remember having that discussion?
I do, Mr. Townsend, and I've not received an apology.
I think we move forward with approving the item that we're asking for approval to put it on the January 26th board meeting agenda. Between now and then, there can be discussion between our charter department in the district and Superintendent Byrd, and then we'll move forward accordingly. Yes, Mr. Wilson, of course.
I voted for that contract originally simply because it gave us control, a certain amount of control over certain aspects of the school, the administration of the school, and I felt like we would lose that without that contract. But in addition to that, we desperately need some help in that part of the county. I remember that situation very clearly, and I did appeal to Mr. Arza, I think it was. I did appeal to him to apologize. I felt like his approach and comments were considerably inappropriate and out of line. But that hasn't happened. It doesn't change the reason that I supported that vote originally. So I will be in support of that moving forward as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Are there any other further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Miller.
Wes, can you explain what you're advertising the meeting for exactly?
What it means is under Florida's law, when the contract is presented to the school board, it is required to be presented at a public hearing. You're required to have a public hearing for that purpose. I typically come to you before a public hearing is advertised as a matter of courtesy to obtain authority for the advertisement. But the law requires them to have a public hearing before the board can vote on it.
Thank you. I just want to remind my colleagues that we do need help in the area of the county we originally talked about, but Mr. Arzer so very unkindly reminded me that the location does not matter, and I don't know that they intend to put it in an area that we need help in. So you need to be aware of that. And we as a board cannot deny an application based on location. And so there needs to be a lot of thought into that process. It's convenient, and I understand now. Thank you, Wes.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments? Mr. Townsend?
Would remind people also that the person who represents that school, Ralph Arza, was caught on tape some years ago threatening the black superintendent, I believe it was of Miami-Dade County, making racial epithets. I would encourage everybody to play that tape if they come. It's pretty ugly. Really, I think nobody deserves to be judged by their worst moment. You know, and apparently he was drunk and in a bad frame of mind back in that time. But when you come back years later and you behave in the same kind of bullying way toward board members who vote against you, seems like you haven't learned your lesson much. I think any parent who sends their kid to that school needs to be caveat emptor of who they're dealing with. The people who run that school are perfectly comfortable having him represent them. And, you know, that's why I'm going to be voting no tonight. As I said, you know, I certainly won't be able to stop this. I couldn't stop it a year and a half ago. But I'm not going to ever vote to subject the people of this county to people like that knowingly. So I'll be voting no.
Okay, just as a reminder, this is not a vote on the charter contract.
Right.
Once again, it is simply a vote tonight to entertain a motion to approve the authority for Mr. Bridges to advertise a public hearing. That is all we are voting on tonight. Okay. So now I would like to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
No.
How many? Wait a minute.
Sarah Fortney, no.
And who else said no? I'm going to go by district because I didn't hear. District 1?
No.
District 2? Aye. District 3?
Nay.
District 4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
District 6?
Aye.
District 7?
No.
Okay, so the motion carries 4-3 to advertise a public hearing on January the 26th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bridges, appreciate it. Okay, next we're going to have our auditor's report, which will be given today by Mrs. Matthews.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In accordance with the School Board of Polk County Audit and Finance Committee charters, I'm requesting school board approval of 2 nominees for the committee to fill vacancies created by term expirations. Ms. Terry Loretta, accountant with Bayless and Company in Lakeland, is being nominated by School Board Member Billy Townsend. Ms. Loretta will bring a unique perspective to the committee as she has been on both sides of the external auditing function and has been both a parent and a classroom teacher of Polk County Public Schools students. She has a passion for education and accounting. She graduated with honors from the University of Central Florida with a degree in accounting. She began her career as a controller in the manufacturing sector, joined Explorations 5 Children's Museum first as a volunteer, then as a staff member, and taught middle school math at Rochelle School of the Arts for 4 years before starting her own tutoring business, Learning Time, Inc. Ms. Loretta's 4 sons attended Polk County Public Schools before earning college degrees. Ms. Loretta contributed many volunteer hours throughout the Lakeland community over the years at her children's schools, her church, and Lakeland Soccer Club. Ms. Loretta is a lifelong learner who enjoys spending time with her family, traveling, gardening, reading, and staying active. The second nominee is Mr. Matthew Beeman, CPA, partner with Adamson and Company CPA firm in Winter Haven, and he's being nominated by School Board Member Lynn Wilson. Mr. Beeman's career includes experience in public accounting, financial reporting for a municipality, and working in or consulting with businesses in a variety of industries and professions. He holds a Bachelor in Business Administration and Master's degree in Accounting from the University of Central Florida and a Master of Business degree from the University of Florida. Mr. Beeman is a past chair of the Polk County chapter of FICPA and a graduate of Leadership Winter Haven, Class 37. The 2 nominees' 3-year terms will commence with your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. The chair will now entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Matthew Beeman and Ms. Terry Loretta for a 3-year term on the district's Audit and Finance Committee. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Wilson, did you have a few comments this evening?
Well, actually, I did, but I think Ms. Matthews covered everything. I think Mr. Beeman will be an exceptional addition to the Audit Committee, and I recommend him without qualification. He'll be a great addition. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson? Mr. Towns, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just thank Ms. Loretta for her willingness to serve. I too am really excited about her background and what she brings. She goes down, she's got school level finance insights, and just looking forward to seeing what she can do. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, we have a motion and a second. Now I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. And congratulations to Mr. Beeman and Ms. Loretta, and we look forward to their service on our district's Finance and Audit Committee.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, may I add one thing, please? I am sorry, I left off one new administrator.
Yes,
If it
ma'am.
pleases the board, I'd like to make sure I get that name in.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to recommend Andrew Baldwin, Director of Federal Programs and Grant Management, to his position as the Director. And he served in that position so far as acting, so we are now pleased to have him officially as a Director of Federal Grants and Federal Programs. Thank you, and please,
Wonderful.
thank you for allowing me to get that in.
Yes, of course. And is he here this evening?
He was earlier.
Was
so
he?
I
Okay.
think he
Well,
left.
we wish you our deepest congratulations. Thank you so much. That's right. Okay, now we come to a part in the meeting where we have our board members' reports, but before we do, I have a special presentation tonight. Mr. Townsend, would you please stand up? I would like to present to you a plaque that says, "In grateful appreciation to your years of service, outstanding, and the devotion to the children and citizens of Polk County from 2016 to 2020. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the very best. We appreciate you being on the board." If you'd like to say a few words.
I better sit for this. I was, rather than make a big speech, I was going to actually play the end of a movie, my favorite movie, Ratatouille. But apparently there are copyright issues with that, and they'll cut off our feed, and then they were all awry. So, there's a scene where you guys have seen the movie where it's about a very creative, talented rat and a very egotistical critic who is named Ego. You can guess which one I am. And there's a scene at the end that he says that is really, I think, I kind of wanted people to see it, but I'll read it. It says, "In many ways, this is the food critic speaking. His name is Anton Ego. Try to imagine me doing it in a Peter O'Toole accent, because I'm not going to try. But in many ways, the work of a critic is easy. We risk very little, yet enjoy a position over those who offer up their work and themselves to our judgment. We thrive on negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read. But the bitter truth we critics must face is that in the grand scheme of things, the average piece of junk is probably more meaningful than our criticism designating it so. But there are times when a critic truly risks something, and that is in the discovery and the defense of the new. The world is often unkind to new talent, new creations, The new needs friends. You know, I think a lot of people talked about what we disagreed about as a board, but we didn't actually disagree about very much. I think with maybe a couple of exceptions, every single person in this room, if Ron DeSantis woke up tomorrow and said school grades are going away, testing's going away, this whole reduction of children to nothing more than numbers to sell is going away, the state's going to be a partner, not an enemy. If he woke up tomorrow and said all of that, everybody in this room, except maybe two people, would stand up and cheer. What we disagreed about is what to do about the reality that we live in. How passive to be in the face of it. How much the idea of finding something new needed friends. I am the kind of person who has always kind of liked to be a friend of the new. In a lot of ways, I'm sad for my kids that had to grow up in this model that has hurt them as kids. What has been enormously beneficial to them is going to school in a community that looks like America, that is fully, that is as diverse as this community is. Only public school can provide that at its best. And it's a shame that the way we measure it, the way we try to rank it and to sort it, is how we have to experience learning in a formal way. You know, I'm 49 years old, or almost, I'm 48. My generation and the generation in front of me, the older generation, has done a really bad job. We've left a very poor country and a very poor world behind us. And poor, I mean, not in terms of wealth, in terms of prospects. We've been irresponsible as generations. We've sat by and let things happen that we shouldn't have. You know, I think there's an element of that, particularly in education in Florida. And I've worked really, really hard in the last 4 years to try to show people there might be a different way to do it. We've been doing things the same way for 25 years now, and the same miseries exist. You know, I want to sort of single out Miss Reynolds for just a second. She very powerfully, I thought, several times, wept about what this model of education had done to her, how it had affected her, how being reduced to a test had affected her. And she was elected with power to do something about it, as was I. And you know, I think the question we all have to ask ourselves is, what are we doing about the things we know are broken? What are we doing to, you know, enhance the development of our children's humanity? I know, you know, having spoken to so many folks here in this organization, having interacted with so many of them, the sacrifice and the suffering that happens every day to bring a bit of joy or a bit of learning or a bit of an experience to a child, when all the power is stacked against it. The people who do that every day have inspired me. They will continue to inspire me, and I will forever be, in whatever way I can, a voice for, you know, a friend of the new, a voice for a new way of looking at the world that is fundamentally developmental. You know, finally, I could go down and just sort of thank everybody and express my appreciation to everybody, and I would inevitably leave people out. It's been a really fascinating experience. The engagement with folks, you know, getting fussed at's been fun. Getting to fuss back has been fun. there's nothing more important to the future of America and to the future of our kids than coming up with a way to collaboratively develop all of our kids. I do want to take a moment to thank Susan Worthington particularly. She is an extraordinarily kind and decent person whose well-being I take very, very seriously. I appreciate her very, 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 very much. And I appreciate everybody who worked so professionally to facilitate the work we're trying to do here. And with that, I'll just say thanks. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Townsend. And next we have Ms.
Chair, if you
Yes.
don't mind, I have something I'd like to present to you if you would stand up, please.
Oh, dear. Okay.
On behalf of the board, it's my pleasure to present you with this token of our appreciation for your service as board chair over the past year. It's been, as we all know, an exceptionally difficult year, not the least of which has been dealing with COVID and the superintendent search, and you have led us courageously and exceptionally graciously throughout the year. We just want to thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And next, we have board reports. Ms. Fortney?
Yes, I want to personally thank Billy for his fierce advocacy for our public school staff and students, and I really look forward to working with him as a fierce constituent. I do want to bring up a couple of things I brought up in the work session about our face-to-face and e-learning model that is driving our workforce out of the business of education. I feel like we're dropping like flies. I am concerned about the ADA-approved staff being forced back into brick and mortar, even though they are high risk or even low risk, just risk. Our kids that will not have an option the second semester, if the state has their way, that we will lose even more staff and students to Florida Virtual, which will hurt our financial bottom line. And I urge all my constituents, as Ms. Miller likes to call them, Fortney's Army, to email, bombard the DOE, the governor, your Commissioner of Education, our representatives, that they not take the e-learning option away from our staff and students. I believe it's all part of a plan to dismantle public education, and I will fight till my death for my students and staff that are on the front lines. And again, thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. And next, we have Ms. Reynolds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple things to highlight. First is I had the opportunity to attend the CFDC annual meeting last week, where our superintendent, Ms. Bird, was given the Chairman's Award, which is their Community Member of the Year, for all that she's done in her time at Polk County Public Schools. So I just wanted to make sure that the board was informed that she had received it. She's probably going to kill me afterwards, but she may have been a little bit ambushed and didn't know she was there to receive an award or have to speak. She has a really incredible secretary who kept the secret from her and made sure she got out the door in time. So thank you to Wendy as well for helping with the surprise. Secondly, just a reminder that we are in the middle of a superintendent search. I'm sure you are all well aware, but at our work session today, we discussed adding another virtual opportunity for input, and that will be live next week. So watch our Facebook page, website. It will be on all of our media platforms, but for anyone who was unable to attend one of our forums, there will be a virtual opportunity for that as well. In addition, the superintendent search survey is open through November 12th, so if you have not already filled it out, please do so and make sure all of your friends do so. And then finally, I know this is everyone's favorite time of the year, and somebody asked me earlier, what does lip sync benefit? Because apparently I forgot to say it earlier today. So the Winter Haven Public Education Partnership's annual fundraiser is Celebrity Lip Sync Battle. And this year we have a great lineup of contestants. One of them is our very own Steve Warner, who is the Winter Haven District Liaison for Polk County Public Schools. We also have Nick Plott with TICO, who is a great friend to public education, Karen Winningham at Cypress Junction's Montessori, Weston Riddle with Lakeland Magic, Alex Nickdell with CNP Agency, and Allison Beeman with CMEX, who her husband was just appointed to our audit committee. So if you are looking to do something fun next Thursday night, it will be at the Chain of Lakes Stadium in Winter Haven, right there behind the new field house where the Indians used to play. The event will start at 5:30. It's $25 for a ticket. We have one very stringent judge in Miss Bird. She kind of might be like the Simon Cowell of American Idol. But so you'll have to come out and see it yourself. I say that as a previous contestant. She's a little bit harsh sometimes. But so that, again, will be next Thursday, and I would love to see you all there. The show starts at 7. There'll be food trucks beforehand, so come out and enjoy the fun. That concludes my report. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Ms. Fields?
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple of items. I wanted to, in honor and in memory of Deborah Wright, who passed away October the 17th. This is the front page of her program. I don't know if you all can see this or not. But I did get a chance to go to the viewing and got a chance to talk to her daughters, Ashley and Deborah Wright. Both of them are part of our school system. Both of them are working diligently, trying to make a difference in the children's lives that we serve each and every day. So I wanted to read something that I had placed on my Facebook page. Some of you might have already read it. If you have, just bear with me, but I think that it needs to be read so that we can honor her, even though she is no longer with us. Words can't describe the respect and adoration that I had for Miss Wright, first as a wife, a mother, a music teacher, a principal, and a school board member. She had many talents, always using them to help those most in need. She was a no-nonsense kind of person and very straightforward, which I love because we were a lot alike in this regard. Her entire life was centered around helping children and was very much in alignment with our school district's mission, students first. She had no personal agenda. She just tried to make a difference in every child's life. I have 3 children, Dorian, Leslie, and Jazz. And she always asks about each of them, but she had an unusual fondness for my son, Dorian. She remembered some of the challenges that he experienced in elementary and middle school and was always concerned about his welfare and was proud of who he had become as an adult. She always said Clint would be proud of Dorian. Serving on the school board with her was a great experience. Her knowledge and expertise helped me to be a better school board member. She knew her stuff and could relate to any situation. She leaves a great legacy in her 2 amazing daughters, Ashley Wright and Deborah L. Wright Hudson, and her granddaughter, Victoria. She will be sorely missed. Rest in heaven, Mrs. Wright, until we meet at Jesus' feet. And I wanted to let everyone know that they had asked in lieu of flowers that those that would like to contribute in honor of Ms. Wright could make a donation to the Clint Wright Foundation. And if you go to Williams Funeral Home website, the information is there. And I believe Ms. Susan has the information as well. And I've already made my contribution, and I would encourage those of you that have the ability to do that, not just in Ms. Wright's honor, but also in her husband, in her late husband's honor, Dr. Wright. And all of those dollars, I believe, go back to Florida Memorial University to help with scholarship funds. So I just wanted to do that in honor of her. I also wanted to thank the schools that were represented today as it relates to the United Way campaign. I know that many of you all know the struggles that a lot of nonprofits have had because of the pandemic, and a lot of individuals have had, as was referenced in the presentation. It's a sacrifice to make a contribution to United Way, but the money is well spent and is utilized to make our community better. Because of the pandemic, they didn't mention it today, but the United Way had to stop its campaign and it did not complete it. And so a lot of the agencies had a reduction in their allocation, and so the services have been decreased, but the need is great. So if those listening would consider, thanks to those who are giving to United Way. Thank you so much for making the sacrifice. And if you can make a sacrifice, if you're not currently giving to United Way, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. And then I was also told that Mr. Alex Wheeler, he's a past school board member, passed away today as well. So I wanted to just honor him. I did not work with him, but I heard that he passed away today. So we're going to be lifting him up in prayer as well. And I believe that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I want to take an opportunity to kind of piggyback on some things Mr. Townsend said. It's very frustrating and difficult and challenging for me every night when I watch the news and I see the things that are happening in our country today. It's something I think we all should be concerned about. And I believe that the answer to those problems is through education. We talk about wealth inequality and capital inequality and income inequality. Those are all things that are solved through education. And frankly, in our society right now, we're just not doing a very good job of that. I read not long ago that there's 16,000, that the state of Florida imports 16,000 welders, machinists, and mechanics every year from other states and out of the country because we're not training our students to do those jobs. It's a stunning number when you think about it. And I'm absolutely convinced that whether it's at the federal level or state level, everyone is trying to do the right thing. The intentions are good, but we can't get there until we start talking, and we can't get there until we start having discussions, and we can't get there until we start collaborating, and most importantly, we can't get there until we start listening. We can't get there as a state until our state officials come down here and listen to our teachers and the folks that are at the grassroots level and listen to the challenges they face every single day. You know, routinely, like my other colleagues on the board, I get phone calls, and the first thing I always do when I get one of those calls is I remind myself to listen. There's nothing more important than that. You just have to be willing to listen, to get together, have the discussions, have the conversations, and to listen. But if we're going to move forward as a country in a meaningful way, we have to do that through education. It's going to start with the collaboration between local school boards in the state of Florida and local school boards and the federal government. So that's been on my mind. And, when Mr. Townsend offered his comments, I guess that just brought it to the forefront for me, and I felt compelled to offer those comments as well. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Ms. Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a few things. I want to start with, and this wasn't planned, but I do want to make a couple of comments concerning charter, corporate charter, including Bridge Prep. No matter what they print on a postcard, I am very much pro-choice, and I've been a proponent of Victory Ridge and Achievement Academy and our Montessori schools and local charters here. My son is on the Gardner Scholarship, and I pay the tuition of a private school for my daughter. So I understand school choice. What I do require is professionalism and respect. If the new mantra is how polite we're going to be, I'm going to expect that from people that come before this board. I was not given the respect from Mr. Arza in that charter school. It does not mean that I don't understand the rules of the DOE. I do understand that vote tonight meant pretty much nothing because it doesn't matter. We're still going to have that meeting. I also know that it doesn't matter really what the board votes with because they can take it to the state and have these schools passed anyway. That has a lot to do with legislation. That has nothing to do with what I can control as a school board member. I can't control that schools add children with disabilities. I cannot control that schools have a reflective student body with minority and socioeconomic concerns. I can control what I do. So when I have people come before the board, I expect them to be professional and have respect as a board and as board members. And so I hope that Mr. Arza and Bridge Prep comes back and wants to work as a partnership and have that kind of professionalism. I understand the limitations of a local school board. I understand the limitations provided and the opportunities provided through the Department of Education. I am very much for those schools offering opportunities, but I will be asking questions. I will ask about their local control. I will ask about what their student body looks at. I will ask where their location will be, even though really as a board, we have no control over location. And so I just want to make that clear. This is not an anti-choice sentiment that you get from District 7. I hold people accountable, and I require them to come and meet with me in professionalism and respect that I provide. So I just wanted to set that out. I do want to recognize my colleague that's leaving the board. I know that he's probably still going to be very active in life. And he doesn't mention his parents often, but I do want to give credit to his parents, especially his mother. I have never met somebody with a sense of self like my colleague, and with a sense of self-esteem, no matter what is said or what is done. He just keeps going, and I do credit his mother for that, and I know she's not in good health, but I think that is the person that he owes a lot to for giving him that. So I appreciate what you've done here, and I'm sure you'll still be active in telling me what I'm doing wrong when I'm making decisions.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay. But more importantly, I want to talk about Mrs. Wright this evening. Many of you know that I was around a long time, and I've tried to keep in touch with our board members. And I knew Mrs. Wright very personally, and we'd laugh because especially recently people would ask her, how do you know Lisa Miller? How long have you known her? And people would ask me that, and our answer is always a real long time because we couldn't put it together. I was a teacher a long time ago and knew her then. I was on the campaign trail in 2014, if you remember those campaigns long ago. And I can tell you that was a lady of faith. That was a lady that if she told you she was praying for you, she went home that night and she prayed for you. I can tell you she sat on this board, and there was a lot of criticism sometimes because she asked a lot of questions. She expected a lot from her staff and from the board members, and I looked up to her for that. What her and her husband did here in this county and what her daughters are currently involved in with our education will never be matched. The legacy that the Wrights leave in this county for the people they have touched, not only adults but students, I think is something you only can wish to attain. So I think that I'm glad that we've honored her with the donations to the Clint Wright Foundation, but I just want to say that she will be missed, and her legacy will live a long time beyond just her and her husband and her daughters. But that's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Okay, I have a few items as well tonight, and I promise to be as brief as possible. I did want to update everyone on the superintendent search. I feel that it's been progressing nicely. We have contracted, as most of you know, with the Florida School Boards Association to help us conduct the search for our next superintendent of schools. I'm excited to announce again that we had community forums, in-person forums, 6 of them held last week across the county, as well as a Zoom forum for our students that went very well. Our online surveys are ongoing, and they will continue up through November the 12th. And the link, of course, is on our website. And for those that were not able to attend the in-person forums and wanted to have an opportunity to voice your interest as far as the qualifications that you'd like to see in our new superintendent, Dr. Vogel with the Florida School Boards Association announced today that we will be having virtual community forums the week of November 2nd through the 6th. Once again, virtual community forums for the superintendent search qualifications will be held November 2nd through the 6th. Ms. Pleasant, our marketing guru, for lack of a better term, has done an exceptional job in getting out the message about all these different opportunities for community input, and I know that they will be working diligently to get those dates out there for everyone, but please check back to our website. Once again, November 2nd through the 6th, we will have virtual community forums for everyone to give input if you've not already had the opportunity to do so. Next, I wanted to announce to the board our annual planning retreat. Obviously, should have probably had one in this fall, but due to COVID and everything else going on, Superintendent Byrd and I have been discussing the annual retreat, and we're looking at having it sometime in the spring of 2021. And as soon as we move a little bit farther along, we will give you an actual date. But just to let you know, we've been talking about that, and hopefully we'll have something on your calendar after the first of the year. Next, I wanted to let you know, I think I mentioned it back in January, it's been almost a year, that I was working with Polk Vision and Kim Long to host a joint meeting of the school board, along with the Board of County Commissioners and the Polk County Legislative Delegation. And so it was supposed to be held September of 2020, but I think everybody knows what kind of happened in September of 2020. So due to that, I've been reaching out to Ms. Long, and we're looking at trying to coordinate that joint meeting of all three bodies, if you will, the school board, the Board of County Commissioners, and our legislative delegation sometime January, February, prior to session beginning in March. So I just kind of wanted to let the board know that as we move forward. Hopefully we can put some actual dates on that for everyone. I also wanted to thank the board members, our staff, so dedicated, who've been attending all these meetings, who help us to prepare, who set the video, the audio. Everybody, you know, you walk in and everything's done. Somebody has to do that. And we have incredible folks that come every time we meet here. And I'm so appreciative, and I just want to say thank you so much, because it's been quite the wild ride with COVID and everything else that we've had to deal with. And our staff has been outstanding, and board members, thank you for your support and being here. For those of you that have been able to come in person, I really appreciate it. And I did want to announce that beginning November 1st, all work session and board meetings will be live and will continue to be held here at the Jim Miles Center through the end of the year, December 31st, 2020. As people move, it's been an incredible, incredible year for everybody, and I just want to say thank you. I also wanted to say that I learned this morning that Mr. Alex Wheeler, who was a school board member for about 10 months in 1998, passed away this morning. Mr. Wheeler was appointed by Governor Childs on January 14th of 1998, and he served about 10 months through the election in November of 1998. He was defeated by Larry Peacock, who then went on to become a school board member. So I would simply ask you to keep his wife Mandy and their family in your prayers. It's a very difficult time, as you might imagine. He went in for a very simple surgery, and he passed away this morning. So your thoughts and prayers tonight would be so much appreciated for his wife Mandy and their family. And I think the family has requested that folks don't reach out to give them kind of a little bit of time to try to get their arms around what has just occurred in their family. So your patience is very much appreciated at this time. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comments addressing items that are not on the agenda tonight. So I have several people that signed up. I will begin with Danielle Zier. Hope I pronounced it right. Danielle Z-I-E-R. Are you here this evening? If so, please come forward to address the board. Okay, next I have Lisa Burke. Would you like to come forward? Welcome, Ms. Burke. Congratulations. Yes, hopefully you can tell everyone who you are when you address us here.
Okay, my name is Lisa Burke, Lake Wells, Florida. I'm the new president of ASME 2227. I get to represent some amazing people. But it takes all of us to make the school board, district, and system work. I just wanted to let you know and remind you that support staff, most of them are the ones that are hidden, that are all behind the scenes, that we don't get to see. Those are the ones that go unnoticed. And if they take care of everything that we take for granted, take care of the plumbing, the painting, the maintenance, everything like that. And for the ones that are seen, they feed the kids, they feed their minds, their bodies, they start their day and they finish their day. So I just wanted to remind you to keep them in mind as we go forward and do business budgets and everything else. Because a lot of them, they don't make a livable wage, they need help. And also, as we go further in business, the superintendent search, as you mentioned, a lot of dedicated and loyal employees, they showed up to put in and put in. I've got to be honored with that too. But as, this is my first, what do you want to call it? Board meeting or work session as the president of the local. And I have some really big shoes to fill. So it's my job to represent, fight, and work hard for all those employees who want better pay, benefits, and I just want to make their lives better. And I will be here for them, and I look forward to working with you guys. And thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Burke, and we're very excited that you've assumed that new position with ASME, and we look forward as a board to working together with you to accomplish goals as we move forward. So thank you for your service ahead of time.
Thank you, because it takes all of us.
Yes, it does, ma'am. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to address the board? I have one more card. Bishop Mincy? Is there someone else? Everyone else has spoken, I believe, previously. Is there anyone else?
Janine Rodino, Mulberry. The district is currently at an impasse with the union. We must now wait until December in hopes that our union's plan prevails and that over 90% of us will see a 2% raise. This raise comes at a crucial time for many families because of the coronavirus pandemic. But instead of handling this issue and accepting the proposal, the district is arguing for almost non-existent raises for most of its teachers and staff. I wonder what it would be like to be paid for the work that I do. I wonder what it would be like to have a massive salary just so I could delegate my work to someone else. I wonder what it would be like to not have to worry about saving in order to go to the doctor's office. As previously stated, the financial officer for the district is worried about the state cutting education budgets. However, I see plenty of spaces in the district office, particularly in absurd and seemingly made-up positions of power that haven't done anything to support teachers and students. Instead of potentially cutting jobs, why not just pay any employee making more than teachers only what we make? Teachers are unable to delegate their workload to others, and they usually do more than what's in their job descriptions, as well as working overtime. If the district individuals think they deserve more, please come and teach our classes during blended learning or COVID in general to prove why we shouldn't get what you get. In addition to the salary issue, I'd like to suggest that dual enrollment teachers see in a stipend. While it's true that any teacher with a master's degree can get a stipend, which could take them over 7 years to pay back with the said supplement, dual enrollment teachers are working for two groups, both the school board and the college that's affiliated with the school they're working for. They are required to do more rigorous grading and give more specific feedback, along with spending time ensuring their records for both schools are impeccable because they cannot waver from the content they are required to teach. These teachers do not get anything additional for students who succeed in their class, unlike ACE, IB, and AP that offer bonus money per student who pass an exam. And those teachers are not required to have graduate degrees, usually only a summer institute certification. Why isn't there a stipend for dual enrollment teachers? The school board and district constantly want teachers to improve ourselves on our own money and time, but don't show appreciation for professional growth of their employees. If you're not willing to give us a supplement, then perhaps mandate dual enrollment teachers be offered an additional planning period. Or, since dual enrollment teachers usually have to work additional months over the summer to build curricula, pay us as 11 or 12-month employees. It's time to step up and do what's right by your teachers. Give us salaries we deserve while cutting unnecessary positions or ridiculous salaries for district officials, and give us an incentive to improve ourselves professionally. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I won't take the whole 3 minutes, and I could rattle off more facts and figures. We can talk later about those. I got days worth of facts and figures. But this comment tonight is for Billy, and I'm gonna try not to cry, because you have been an inspiration to me and to the people that I represent. You have fought the good fight, and I know you will continue to fight the good fight with us, alongside of us. I'm sad to see you leave that seat, but I know that moving forward, your speaking truth to power is just going to increase without maybe the restrictions that the seat provides. Your fierce advocacy, I couldn't have said it better than Ms. Fortney. Your fierce advocacy for our students, for the teachers and the staff that serve those kids on the front lines every day, is a sight to behold, and I am so glad that I've been able to work alongside of you. Continue to fight, because we need it, and we need people, we need more people that have backbones to stand up and speak truth to power. And you've done that, and you've transformed this board, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Yocum. Anyone else? Bishop Mincy, if you'd like to come forward.
I started my job I was 9 years old, I started preaching. And I've not always been compensated for preaching. Lisa, I told you I was on my job, didn't I, the other night?
You were at every
I came to every one of these things.
I asked if he was on contract.
Because she asked me, was I hired by the school board? Yes, I'm hired, but I won't get a check. That don't matter, that's immaterial right now, because we are in a pandemic. We're in a serious time, more than we ever look at. Everybody is looking for how we're gonna get out. If all of us had the answers, we would not be coming to these type of sessions. And my heart goes out, as I've said this so many times, to all of these people that work hard and don't look like get compensated properly. But the reward is not just so much all the time the monetary thing. It's when you can look back over your life and you can see that somebody that you touched while you were passing along the way. I heard you said, Lisa, about Miss Wright, and there's others, and I won't even call names tonight because I don't want to offend nobody by the names I call, because you might think who I like, you may not like. That don't matter either. But what I'm saying is this: my heart goes out, and I think about all of these people that are hurting. Our nation is in such a disarray, and it is so sad to see we're in a presidential election and we don't know what's going to be the outcome. We don't know nothing. But one thing we do know is that the man that created us all, he has every one of us in his hands, and he is able to take care of every one of us because he knows the hairs that are numbered on your head. He knows every one of them. So, since he knows everything there is to know about us, we have to be people that are encouraged to stay in the fight, in the easy fight. You gotta be encouraged to keep on doing what you do, because one day there will come a reward. But the reward may not come when you want it to come, but a reward will come. So I encourage you to let's stick it out. Let's stick it out. Let's do what we got to do to try. And let me tell you this tonight, when I'm going to sit down. We know where we've been, but we don't know where we're going. Now, you can get that in your mind because what we had, we're fixing to lose, so I don't know what we're going to get, what we're looking for. So all you can do is hope and pray that whoever is selected by the board members will be the person that can take us to the next level.
Thank you, Bishop Mincy. Appreciate those words. Okay, our next order of business, board members, is adjournment. There being no further business of the Polk County School Board, this meeting is now adjourned.